welcome to the analysis of the UAM 16 for this year, 2021. Quant section. Let's look at the question distribution topic wise. Algebra had two questions, basic algebra. One on surds and indices, a difficult one, and one on polynomials, moderate. Advanced algebra had one question on inequalities and spatial properties, which was a difficult one. Arithmetic had a lot of questions. Arithmetic and advanced arithmetic. Averages had two questions, one moderate, one difficult. 5 questions on numbers, 3 moderate, 2 difficult. Percentage had 1 easy question. Profit and loss, 1 moderate question. Simple interest, compound interest, 2 difficult ones. Time, speed, distance had 3 questions, 2 moderate and 1 difficult one. Advanced arithmetic had 1 question on progressions, which was easy. 4 questions on geometry. Triangles had 2, 1 moderate, 1 difficult. Circles had 1 moderate question, and polynomials and quadrilaterals 1 difficult one. A total of 22 questions. A very heavy weightage on arithmetic and advanced arithmetic. Numbers at 5 questions and time to distance 3. That was a good old fashioned. Let's look at these questions now one by one with the level of difficulty. The easy questions. 1 on progressions. Usually progressions is difficult, but this was easy, sort of very easy one. The first term of 2 progressions is given as 5. And it is told that the common difference of the first is the square of the second AP and vice versa. That was very easy. That is what made it very easy. And now you have to just calculate the ratio of their 4 terms. Very easy. Nobody should have missed this question. A standard question on percentages. Fresh grapes this much, water, dry grapes this much, fresh fruit. So fresh watermelon is 99% water by weight, and pulp contains 10% water by weight. So if you want to produce 2 kilograms of pulp, how much fresh watermelon is required? A very standard type of an easy question. One which should not be missed. There were 10 moderate questions. 1 on averages. A person was asked to calculate the average weight of a class. He gets the correct total. He counts the weight. He adds up all the weight and gets the correct weight. Now, while counting the students, see, the weight was correct. That was one very important thing. Now, counting the students, while counting the students, he made a mistake. Once he counted, he missed 2 students and got an average which is 2 more than the correct. He counts again. This time he counts 10 students twice and gets an average which is 10 less than the earlier average that he had calculated. 8 less than the correct one. And how many students are there? Quickly make 2 equations and solve them to get the answer. The number of numbers had a lot of questions. 3 moderate, 4 out of them were easy. 3 moderate. The number of pairs of integers AB which satisfies the equation A multiplied by A plus B, A plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to B. I just hope you notice that it was a power subscript, superscript. 2 raised to B. So it has to be a power of 2. A slight thinking and not very difficult. An easy question on BODMAS ideally. But what made it difficult is usually the V BODMAS. The V of BODMAS has been quite long forgotten sort of. V stands for the vinculum, a bar over the numbers, and that V has the highest priority. Ideally a very easy question, but just putting it as moderate because of the vinculum V, BODMAS application. Another on numbers. There are n numbers, x1, x2, x3, xn, each of which is either +1 or -1. And now you're multiplying consecutive 2 numbers. x1, x2, x2, x3, x3, x4, and so on till the last and the second last. And you're not completing the cycle. Remember that last and first, that's not there. This summation of these product pairwise is 0. So how many terms are there? What is the value of n? A few trials and you would get an answer. Just a few trials were needed, looking at the options, and that would give us an answer. Circles. I am tempted to put this question as a rather easy question than moderate, but the figure was given, and maybe some people might think of the figure as something complicated, and maybe they would leave the question without reading it, without actually grasping the question. That's why I'm putting it as moderate. Two circles are shown in the figure. Both are the same radius, and a third circle is there tangential to both of them internally. Center distance is given as 8, radius is 5. Calculate quickly the diameter of the inner circle and then the area. Quite easy otherwise. Polynomial, second question. Ideally easy, but a little different. Two cubical expressions are there. LCM is to be found. That means ultimately it's factorization. Factorize the two and find the LCM. And then answer the question. And in that also, the second is actually looks like a cubic, but is more like a quadratic because there is no constant term. Take x common, and the other term would become, other factor would become a quadratic expression. So not very difficult, not moderate probably, but just because it is a cubical, the first expression is a cubical one, which needs to be factorized. Profit and loss. This question probably is ideally conceptually very easy, but it is difficult. It is lengthy in reading, lengthy in grasping, lengthy in solving. That's why I'm putting it as moderate rather than easy. 100% cotton yarn is sold at 3,000 per kilogram, and the selling price reduces by 1% for every 5% reduction of 5% in polyester content. Now, to produce 1 kilogram of cotton yarn, 1.5 kilograms of cotton is needed, which costs 300 per kg. And the same way, to produce 1 kilogram of polyester yarn, 1.02 kilograms of raw material, raw polyester is needed with a cost of 200 per kg. And then the processing costs are given of 100% cotton and 100% polyester, 2,000 and 1,600. Now, what would be the percentage change in the profit when rest of the question is not visible, but when instead of 100% cotton, 60-40 is made, 60 cotton, 40 polyester cloth is processed. So percentage change in profit. Not very difficult in concept. Calculate the costs individually. Just a bit lengthy, that's why I'm putting it as moderate. Maybe this was one which could have been avoided. For one question, there was a lot of reading and a lot of calculations to be done. So maybe it is better kept away. Even if it appears to be easy, this should not have been attempted. Trains with distance, 2 questions. The first one said, Mumbai and Pune are 144 kilometers apart. Now I start from Pune at 9. Vinod starts from Mumbai at 10 and at the same speed. Same speed was more important. Otherwise, this question cannot be solved. A slow auto rickshaw starts from Pune at 10:20. Now Vinod crosses me at 11:30 and the auto rickshaw at 12:32. What time will the auto rickshaw take to cover the entire distance? So knowing that the speeds are same and the total time given 9 to 11:30, 10 to 11:30, calculate the speed of me and Vinod. Knowing Vinod's speed, calculate what distance he will will travel till 12:32. And that will give you the auto rickshaw's distance and speed and all the things needed. Moderate. Another one. 3 runners ABC run a race with runner A finishing 10 meters ahead of B, while B finishing 10 meters ahead of C. By what meters did A beat C? Cannot be determined because we need the length of the race. So easy in concept. maybe a little bit misguiding. People might start calculating. That's why moderate. A moderate question on triangles. Maybe it looks a little difficult, but is moderate. A fan has 3 blades, all equally spaced 120 degrees with each other. Center has a disc which has an area. Area is given, so we calculate the radius, which would turn out to be √3. And the length of the blade is 20 minus √3. So adding the central disc radius would give us a length of the tip of the blade from the center. Knowing this, we can calculate the sort of the triangle that would be formed, equilateral triangle. The sides can be calculated and area can be calculated. So a little calculative, but moderate. Now the difficult ones. Average. The average marks of girls in a class is equal to the number of boys, and the average marks of the number of boys is equal to the number of girls. Average marks of the boys is equal to the number of girls. If the class average is 4 less than the average of the boys' average marks and the girls' average marks, average of the boys' average and the girls' average, which of the following could be the number of students? Could be. That's what makes it difficult. Make framing the equations and then comparing with the options. There's another similar question which would be which of the following could be. Now, one more question on inequalities and spatial properties. I would rather put this into moderate, if not easy. The sum of 3 distinct natural numbers is 51. So summation is constant. Which of the following best represents the product? Conceptually, it is easy. Maybe a little different for some. Somehow I still feel this could have been an easy question. I don't know why I'm putting this as difficult. A question on numbers. A little lengthy in solving, a little lengthy in trial and error. Maybe this is one which could have been avoided. If A is between 17 and 67, how many integral pairs of AB are possible? Satisfying the equation 3 by A plus 2 by B is equal to 1 upon 18. Without the range, it would have been much easier. But with the range, we'll have to actually spend a lot of time in finding out how many integers actually. So this becomes difficult. Otherwise, without that range, it would have become a bit easier. So this question was a little lengthy. These questions could have been avoided. All of these 3 up till now. Surds and indices are a very standard type of a question. Product of PQR is 1. And then you have this expression. Try to understand one of them. And maybe quickly you will be able to modify the other 2 in line with that and get an answer. But a difficult one, not easy. Numbers, a difficult question this time. 100 factorial is written in base n and it has 24 zeros at its end. How many values of n are possible? So it is difficult in understanding. Now, if you remember that 100 factorial has 24 zeros in decimal value, and how you got that 24 if you remember, this would not be a very difficult question. This would not be very difficult. It could be a little moderate from difficult, a little towards moderate. And one more again reason why this could be moderate is that one of the options was more than 4. And obviously that was the answer. So why more than 4? You work out a few things and you'll realize that, yeah, there'll be too many. It'll be a little more than 4 at least. So that is what actually made this a little moderate than difficult. But only after you reach that part. Till then it is difficult. If you read the question and try to see whether it is difficult, yes, it is very difficult. You understand it, it's difficult. And you do it a little bit. If you know that 24 zeros are there in 100 factorial at the end, then it could be a little bit moderate. Quadrilaterals and polygons. A regular octagon is shown in the figure. At every vertex, there is a ring shown in the figure, circular part. Now an end travels from one point to another shown in the figure. Ideally, it could be moderate, but one thing that made this a little difficult is choosing the right path. The end does not travel from A to B, but we don't know which path. The question does not tell you which path, the route. You have to decide. So that decision taking is what makes it a little lengthy or difficult. Thinking about it, maybe it's like you might not want to take a decision. So that is the thing that made this difficult. A question on simple interest, compound interest. There were two, both difficult. A man invests rupees 5 lakh in two different mutual funds in the ratio. After 10 years, the total worth is given. What is the difference between the interest rates for the two mutual funds if the total amount accrued is the same after 20 years in both the funds after 20 years? Looks a little difficult. Not very difficult, but looks a little difficult. Maybe conceptually, if you answer this logically, it could be a little bit moderate than difficult. This could have been done. 100 factorial, you could have avoided. 8 rings, maybe you could have done it. If I go back to the previous, maybe we could have left all of these, except for the inequality one. And the last three difficult ones. The value of a specific bike gets depreciated at the rate of 8%. So instead of appreciation, there is a depreciation, which means instead of interest, you use the same equation with a negative sign. If the bike was sold at 10,000 8 years after it was manufactured, what was the approximate depreciation in the price? Now, what makes it a little more difficult is given the value of log 92 and 10 raised to 0.29. So it's something to do with taking log and anti-log and all that. So that might again shy away a few people from this question. Understanding logarithms, then this question is moderate. Triangles. ABC is an isosceles triangle with AB and AC being equal as x. AD and BE are the altitudes of the triangle. Which of the following is true? Not true if Z is equal to AD square plus BE square. So under one way, convert AD into x and height, BC. Just the base would be BC. Convert BE into x. That would create an inequality at one of these two. Connecting the two, you'll get the answer. Difficult in getting it, difficult in understanding how to decide which path to move, how to solve the question. So yes, this is difficult. The last question on TSD. 3 friends decide to run around a circular track starting at the same time and in the same direction. When A, the fastest, finishes 1 lap, C is as much behind B as A. When A completes 3, C is exactly in the same position on the track as B is when A completed 1 lap. So where B was at that time, and now there is C. But you don't know what is the number of rounds that C has completed. So find the ratio of the speeds of ABC. Because of this uncertainty, this is a difficult question. Maybe C has not completed a single round, maybe 1 round, maybe 2 rounds. 2 rounds would then become illogical. There would be no possible solution. So taking 2 different situations, finding the answer. So not difficult unless you get this idea. So this was a bit moderate to difficult question. Yes, difficult. But maybe we could have got this question, you could have cracked this question with a bit of patience. So looking at these questions, we see that there are 2 easy ones which were not to be missed. Out of the 10 moderate, 1 moderate could have been skipped. And out of the 10 difficult, 3 difficult ones should have been done for a 98 percentile. For a 98 percentile out of the 22, 14 questions should have been attempted. Too easy, missing out 1 on moderate, and doing 3 difficult ones. That makes it a total of 14. So looking at this, we see that if there are 2 errors out of the 14, you still have 12 correct, which gives us a net score of 34. For a 98 percentile, 34 score is what is expected. 34 can get a 98 percentile. For a 100 percentile, it would be difficult. 46 questions, 46 scores should have been achieved to get a 100 percentile, which would mean somewhere around 16 correct questions at least. 16 correct and maybe 1 wrong. For 99 percentile, we are expecting somewhere around 38 marks. So 46, 38, 2 critical points and 34. For a 98 percentile, 95 percentile, even 28 marks would have done. 28 marks could have got a 95 percentile. And 23 marks could have fetched another milestone, 90 percentile. 80 percentile would have just needed 16 marks. So that is the breakup of the percentile and expected scores. 3 weeks to go now. Best of luck.
Oh yes, we are back. You can look at it as 4 EOMs away from your actual CAT, or maybe you can just look at 5 EOMs away from the actual thing. Because as I see it, CAT 2021 will only be EOM 20. So what was the verbal section all about? Verbal section was all about a new format. Yes, we gave you words. We are going to continue to experiment with the number of questions so that you will get an idea of, not an idea, I mean, an idea plus an exposure to the different types of questions that are possible, different numbers of questions, and that will help you to adjust your strategy. So yeah, 15 days from CAT. There is no way I can expect anyone to fall into category 1 or category 2 of the stage of VARC preparation. It has to be category 3. It is enough. We have to be in the last 15 days. You have to be in the advanced stages if you are targeting anything above 90 or 95 percentile on the actual CAT. How should you have done things? Planning, selection, sequencing, the same old story, the same old approach to analysis, and then time allocation for both the types of questions. So what did you have today? You had 22 questions, same old 40 minutes, 12 questions in reading comprehension, but this time you had 4 passages with 3 questions each. We will see in the next slide how the difficulty level of passages, the attractiveness, the appeal of passages changed drastically. Verbal logic, you had 10 questions, 4 questions from paraexamples, 3 from summary, and 3 out of context. So what did we try to do here? We created a paper that is undoubtedly moderate to difficult level. I've been told by some students that apparently they find the verbal section of the previous year CATs easier than the verbal section that they have been seeing in the EOMs. Honestly, that is a slightly mistaken claim. Yeah, because you've seen so many questions in the EOMs that the only difference between the EOMs and the CAT is not the difficulty level. The difficulty level is going to remain the same on the CAT. The difference that is that you have to factor in is how do you approach a paper. So EOMs, if you have, for whatever reason, if you've developed that sort of intimidation, if you're scared of an EOM, if you're still not able to implement a strategy, then obviously an endeavor open mock is going to cause you more apprehension. Hence, the summary of today's paper is, which one are you? Are you Suryavanshi? Are you Suryavansham? I know your CAT comes up in 15 days, but I really hope you will find time to go and watch Suryavanshi. You don't have to find time to watch Suryavansham. The Sony Max people will anyways deliver it right to your home. Right, so let's get started. Reading comprehension, the first passage was a business and economics passage. Very simple, very straightforward, like a newspaper editorial, a passage that you had to do whatever you whatever your background is, whatever your confidence in verbal section is, and a passage where you had to get all three correct. A primary purpose question, absolutely straightforward. A tone question, I'm calling it moderate. I should have called it easy, but TK for the sake of people, because people are still not comfortable with the 40-minute section. So yeah, moderate. And then third question, again, mentioned in the passage, very, very straightforward. That brought us to the second passage, the conversation with the queen. I've labeled it abstract because you read that passage as many times as you want, and you won't be able to put it into a particular theme. You can't say that it's a philosophy-based passage just because there is a mention of philosophy or decision-making in the end. No, that's not what how you classify passages. Abstract, also, it should be pleasing for you to realize that there's an abstract passage that is actually not as difficult. If you have a stereotype that abstract passages are difficult, I'm pretty sure this passage breaks that stereotype by showing to you that abstract passages are not so very difficult after all. First question mentioned in the passage, moderate. Second question, again, attitude or tone, a bit difficult, I would say. I know it is difficult because it was originally an easy question and then I made it difficult. So yeah, the tone question is close unless you are excellent with your vocabulary and your tone questions. Then an inference question, which was a very, very straightforward inference. That changed the world. You move from a passage that was so short to a passage that was not just long, but also there was nothing easy about that passage. It was a difficult passage precisely for this reason. Compare the length of this passage with the other two passages. I will not be surprised if someone says that you were absolutely stunned by the length of the passage. It happens. It was just a relative thing. It's not like you cannot expect that length passages on the CAT. You should expect. But because the first two were easy, if you were any reason settled into a complacent mindset, then this passage would have been a bomb for you. Applied information question, because it's a hypothetical question, I personally don't see anyone being able to get this right in less than a minute or a minute and a half. An inference question, because the question again has a double negative, not an invalid inference, takes you some time to understand. And then the third inference question, which was probably the only doable question for most of you in this passage, brings you to the last paragraph, MMT, not make my trip, modern monetary theory. Overall difficulty level for me, it was moderate. Why? Again, not as easy as to read as the other passages. I mean, the first and the second passage. A mixed bag of questions, just like the previous one. You had one difficult question, one moderate question, and one easy question. Out of which the inference, way too much of data. The first inference question, the second one, yeah, if you have read way more than what was required to answer this question, then that was a challenging question. The main idea question was easy. Very, very, I think there was a very minor chance that someone would have found it tricky. So 4 passages, 3 questions each, 12 RC questions brought you to verbal logic, and this time verbal logic started with out of context. So there were 3 questions, 2 of them absolutely straightforward. The third was a bomb. Again, a reminder that your selection strategies in the last 15 days have to be at a pro level. They have to be at a God level. You see a question and that question has to tell you, okay, this is something that you don't want to attempt. You have to develop that level of selection skills. 13th, very easy. 14th, very easy. Indus Valley Civilization, just not worth it. Then you had what? Then you had 4 rearranging jumbled sentences, and all of them were either moderate or difficult. What was this for? This was a reminder that it's okay. Like I said it last week also, that it is okay if you feel that rearranging jumbled sentences actually takes a lot of time, even though the some people do get attracted to them, and the argument that people give me that the question has no negative marking, so why not take a chance? I don't think anybody here is prepared to just look at a question and key in a random sequence. You are giving it time. That's what my problem is. You're giving it time, and after giving it time, if you're not getting it right, technically that time investment goes for a toss. So that's where people get confused or misled. They give the question time and they think that they're probably by investing some time into it, they'll be able to get it right. And eventually they don't. And once they don't, they regret the time given to the question, and they also hate themselves for selecting such a question. So my answer to that is don't do that. Just don't do that. 4 questions, as I said, 3 of them moderate. The 4th one, absolute torture. I could have pretty much classified this question as a very difficult one, but somehow I felt like it wasn't just, in an absolute term, it did not deserve to be a level 4. It was pretty much a level 3 question. Last 3 questions, your summary questions. Inventors, I think, was a moderate one because there were 2 close choices. Try before you buy. A good reminder that simple passages can have very tricky summaries. Costs for shipping companies, tricky to read and very close choices. So what did we do? As you move from the earlier questions to the later questions, let's divide the test, the entire section, into 2 parts: reading comprehension and verbal logic. In both the parts, you will see that ascending sequence of difficulty. You started off with easy questions, you moved to difficult questions. This was a paper intentionally created to help you understand that when you read a question and you think it is easy and you are able to actually attempt the question and answer it confidently, to reassure yourself that it was easy, that entire experience should consolidate your ability to look at subsequent questions and not underestimate them, rather objectively understand that this question is definitely not as easy as the previous one. Just because I got the previous one correct, I'm not going to become overconfident and jump into this one thinking this is easy. I can see it is difficult. That was the sequence across both halves of the test today. Started with easy, went to moderate, introduced bomb level or difficult level questions. My overall performance would have been this: you had 6 easy questions, 9 moderate questions, 7 difficult questions. I would have expected people to perform like this, get all 6 correct in easy, 8 out of 8 attempts, 7 correct in moderate, and maybe another 3 attempts and 1 correct in the difficult questions. That would leave you with 17 attempts, 14 correct. What will be the score? I'll show you the score in a while. So what should you have done? You should have obviously started with the first passage, then gone to the second passage. Look at my targets there. It has to be 3 attempts, 3 correct. No exceptions. If you are not getting 3 attempts, 3 correct in this, just disconnect from the world and go back and solve the RC passage, because this is the strongest warning that you will ever need if you are really targeting a 95 percentile or even a 90 percentile on CAT. For those 2 passages, if you are not sitting with at least 5 correct out of 6, just nowhere close to what anybody who wants to get a 90 plus percentile in the verbal reasoning section should have. Then you could have gone to the modern monetary theory passage, or I've given you an exception. Maybe if you are not very comfortable with verbal logic questions because they take a lot of time, you could have, after modern monetary theory, you could have picked up the UK housing policy passage. I'm okay with whatever it is. So yeah, passage number 3 and 4, you had a choice, or you could have taken both the passages and attempted less in terms of your, what do you call it, verbal logic questions out of context. I would expect you to get 3 attempts and 2 correct. I'm giving you more time for summary questions. I'm giving you more time for rearranging jumbled sentences, specifically because I'm putting you at a higher target rate. 2 attempts and 2 correct, and 3 attempts and 2 correct. Yes, I know that summary questions, there is a negative marking. Out of context, there's no negative marking. Again, parajumpers, no negative marking. So all of this put together would have given you what I predicted earlier: 17 attempts and 14 correct. That brings us to the percentiles. For a 98 percentile, 17 and 14 would put you at a 39. 100 percentile would be a 55. I know it can be scary to think that out of 66, someone can score a 55, but I'm not surprised. On the 99, on the other hand, is 45. Once again, for people who want to understand trends, look at this trend. From 80 to 90, there's a difference of 6, which means 2 extra correct answers. Between 90 and 95, there's a difference of 4. That means getting 1 additional correct, specifically the one which you would have gotten incorrect, because when you get a question incorrect, your opportunity cost is 4. You lose the 3 you should have gotten. Instead, you end up with a -1. From 90 to 95, it's a matter of 1 question. From 95 to 98, it's a matter of 1 question. From 98 to 99, it's a matter of 2 questions. Same old story, same old reminders. Pick your questions properly. If you're still not able to identify what is easy and what is not, there is not going to be another chance. There is not enough time. That's it. That's all that I have to say today. I'll meet you soon with the next mock analysis. Till then, keep your head straight. Keep your motivation strong. Good luck.
Let's start the LRD analysis of UM16. So a very different paper. Starting with the first set, a normal bar graph data set with a little bit blend of maximization, minimization of the equation. Whatever equation you're getting, you're just maximize, minimize the value. Again, 3 question set can be considered easy to moderate. Little bit time taking, you can say, but yes, doable. The second set, this one, a mixed graph with 3 questions. Again, easy but time consuming. Especially question 6, the last question was more time consuming. And it makes sense to solve this question selectively. That means if I'm not solving one question, solving rest 2 questions, that makes sense here in this case. The third set is coordinate based. This is more sort of an observation based set. I think somebody who is solving it with observation is certainly going to save lots of time. And again, in this case, what I would suggest that 2 questions out of 3 questions were doable, very doable. So even if you are leaving 1 question, solving the rest 2 questions, so then it makes sense. So this was an easy set, provided you're solving only 2 questions, leaving 1 question aside. Now, again, 3 question set. Considering 3 question set, this is certainly time consuming because we need to deal with lots of reading as well as a little bit of solving is also required. Obviously, this is something I should not be solving the first round of solving. In case time permits, I will go for this question as well. Oh, caselet, lengthy caselet, not very complex calculation. Once you crack the set, you can get all 3 answers easily, but certainly time consuming. Lot of reading is required. So in case you like solving these questions, then only it makes sense to go. If you're going for this set, obviously you're going to get all 3 questions right. Yes, almost simple bar graph. In this set, if you're solving first and last question, leaving aside the middle one, then it was a very doable set, and that too within the limited time. So this is something I think in this paper, you guys would have learned this skill, how to select question inside the set. This one, problem with this set, good set for solving purpose. But again, 2 questions with lots of data, I would not consider it a very doable set. But please ensure that you're solving it after the test. Interesting story is given there. So after the test, you should be solving it for sure. But yes, 2 questions and very lengthy. Again, one more lengthy caselet. Again, it's the same story. Lots of things are given there and only 2 questions. So again, sense of urgency. need to be there, then only I'm going to solve this question. Otherwise, this is again not something, one of my favorite set. It is not one of my favorite set then. So now if I have to classify, I would classify something, the first set, the bar graph one, the raw material data and all those things. So that is easy to moderate. Banana Electronic, that mixed graph with 3 question. So again, easy to moderate. Coordinate of the cities, coordinate based set. Again, 2 question out of 3 questions were doable. It is easy. Again, customer of air travel type, third set, the fourth set was there. That again, since this is time consuming, so I would consider it moderate to time consuming. Then university, 5 universities, case late, again easy and time consuming. Sandwich still, sandwich stall bar graph was given there, again easy and time consuming. And last 2 sets were 6 children and 100-meter race. So moderate and time consuming, I would consider both of them moderate and time consuming because only 2 questions were there. And compared to that, there are lots of data to read. So overall, in LRDI, even if let's say out of 3 easy set, you are solving 2 questions, 3 easy questions in the first set, easy set, you are solving 2 questions. 6, even if I'm solving 4 questions, 2 out of each. And easy and time consuming out of 6, even if I'm solving 4 questions, and moderate and time consuming out of 7 questions, even if I'm solving 3 to 4 questions. So although I kept this one 98 percentile low, 28, but because just the less questions were there, only 22 questions were there in the paper. And apart from that, even inside the sets, you have to select and reject some questions. So that's why overall 98 percentile would be somewhere around 28 marks, a little bit more than 28 is also okay. But yes, 98 percentile would be somewhere around 28 marks. This is what about LRDI section. Now overall you can see that for getting 80 percentile, want 16, 15 and 26. So verbal is something that is really going to set the momentum for this paper, because you can easily see that for 90 for verbal is 40 marks. At the same point of time, the LR is a little bit less, much lesser, and even quant is around 34. And I don't think getting 89 was a big challenge in this paper. So this is what about the overall analysis of the paper.